2-6-0 for pin.
What a swim!
Six of them.
Different link or same link?
We're back at the Dirtyard, game number 2 of the Dirtyard Classic, the Circle City Wiffle Ball Championship Series, right here on the ISC Sports Network. So thrilled to be here with our ISC team alongside Rudy Lyon. I'm Derek Schultz. Thanks to Jordan Chu, Sean Walker back in the truck, also our terrific 4-man camera crew, Alan Hughes, Alex Hadley, Dennis Glover, and Eldon Wheeler. A nice day to be out here. We have the umbrellas out on some of our stands out there, but you really don't need it. With the cloud cover, it's very mild here on the south side of Indianapolis. And we've seen the wind not really be much of a factor in game 1, and with that dead flag out in center field, doesn't appear that it's going to be much of a factor in game 2, but we will see a brand new pitching matchup. There's Eldon out there with the umbrella, being as animated as he always is. Mike Whitty, who had a terrific game 1 performance on the plate, scored 3 runs, also hit a homer, his 5th of the season. Not known for his power, but really teed off there with the big lead in the 6th inning on a lob pitch from Taylor Carpenter. And now he'll be entrusted here to try to bring home a championship for this Moonshots team, the 2021 CCW champs.
You know, you talk about the weather conditions. This whole weekend has kind of been really mild and overcast, and I was playing in a wiffle ball tournament myself up in Fishers yesterday, and was very thankful that I wasn't sweating to death. And really, you talk about pitching conditions. Like, these are great conditions for a pitcher, so they're not overheating and wearing out earlier. So I think that's gonna be good for both guys, both arms on the mound. Yeah,
this weather definitely atypical for the middle of August in central Indiana. I mean, generally speaking, even under the lights last year for the All-Star game, I remember it got pretty hot up here.
Yeah.
And the humidity as well, and there's barely any of that with what we've seen so far this afternoon. We all knew the script that the Moonshots were going to have to follow to win a championship today, and that was going to be everyone contributing around Smithy. And what really stood out to me about game 1, Rudy, is that you had big hits and big contributions from all 3 of those other bats. Whitty with his ability to reach base in the homer. Gregory had the huge 3-run homer, which broke open a 2-2 game. And then how about Austin Church kind of battling back in that final inning to add those insurance runs. So all 3 of those guys really contributing to that 10-2 game 1 win.
Yeah, no, it was really oddly, and you may not have the history of the 8 balls, but it was very reminiscent of an 8 balls run in previous years. They're now the home run hitting team, but the 8 balls used to be a full team effort contribution at the plate like that.
Carpenter steps in to lead off game 1. Red jerseys instead of black. And they're hoping that jersey change also leads to a change in the win-loss column as they try to stay alive in this best-of-3 Dirtyard Classic.
Which do you prefer, the Reds or the Blacks?
I think I'm partial to the Reds a little bit.
Me too.
Yeah,
I think
they're sharp.
I love the black backdrop on the font there. I think it looks really sharp.
Now, are teams just given creative control, free reign over what they do with their jerseys?
My team in particular, the Yackers, the Moonshots, and a couple others, we ordered through a jersey company in Dayton, Ohio called Power Sports. But Mike Speak and the 8 balls, they kind of go through their own route, and he loves the baseball style, the full button-down look, and they do look good. I don't like wearing them when it's 95 degrees out here.
They're heavy.
Yes.
Carpenter will see a lob pitch here.
Tough start for Whitty, trying to find the zone. He might need to slow his arm action down a little bit to just get something on the board. Otherwise, this could be a slugfest.
You're amped up. You just won game 1. You just homered in the 6th inning. I could understand the adrenaline working against Whitty here, facing this first batter, especially a batter the caliber of Carpenter. One of the best players in this league in 2022, an MVP candidate.
Carpenter wears number 24. He's a huge Ken Griffey Jr. fan, and he's got a lefty swing like him, I tell you what.
I've always argued the last really true transcendent superstar in Major League Baseball. Maybe ever. You know, who knows? I mean, the game has become very regionalized.
At least one that hasn't been attached to the whole steroids era, perhaps.
Yeah, that for sure.
That was really cool to see him and his dad at the the Field of Dreams game playing
It was.
catch. I think Senior dropped the first throw, though. It was kind of funny.
I actually we took a road trip out to Iowa in June, and we said, hey, as long as we're out here, why don't we go to Dyersville?
Yeah.
And we went over there, and it is literally a ball field in the middle of a cornfield. There is nothing out there. Carpenter rips this one, and it's gone. A great way to lead off the game for the 8 Balls. 1-0 already here in game number 2.
It's exactly what they needed. As I mentioned, number 24, Carpenter, had 24 bombs. There goes number 25 on the season.
More relief than celebration there for Carpenter as he immediately turned to his teammates, gave out a let's go, and they know their season is on the line in this game.
Carpenter, one of the more vocal players. You'll hear a let's go or an LFG every now and again out here.
We are not responsible for anything that our microphones and cameras might pick up here at the
Do we have a
Dirtyard.
graphic, a disclaimer for
I don't
that?
know if we needed to sign a waiver or what.
Like 16 and up or something? No, it's family friendly out here. But, you know, athletes, the moment can get the best of us.
It's competitive out there. Austin Ollis steps in. He had a homer in game number 1. If you're just joining us, Austin, just a rookie, probable Silver Slugger, a huge debut season here in CCW. Batted .500, 23 homers, 44 driven in. Led the league in batting average, slugging, OPS, second in homers, second in total bases. Big swing and a miss, and a big out there for Whitty.
Firm fastball from Whitty there. Again, a left-handed pitcher for the University of Indianapolis. He can bring it. He's slight of figure, but he has some velo in that arm.
So Whitty yields the homer to Carpenter, then comes back and gets Ollis, that two-headed monster at the top of this 8 Balls lineup. But it doesn't get any easier here with Connor Morris. He also homered in game 1. A .444 hitter, 7 homers, 13 driven in for SEMO as he looks at the first 2 balls.
Curious to see here if Morris gets into a lob pitch opportunity. I know he's kicking himself after the 2 lob pitch Ks last game. That's a big rarity. Takes one in the hip there. Those do leave marks. They will last for probably a week if you catch it in the right spot.
I know bare skin for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Clothing not as bad, but
No.
the bare skin can definitely sting. Morris lets a strike pass at 4-0.
In a situation like 4-0, 4-1, especially lefty on lefty, as you see Morris, he's stepping up in front of the box to take away the break if there's a big sweeper, but Whitty says, I don't care, I'm still going to pound the board, and now we're back to even. And then you see Morris is now back in a hitting position off the front of the plate. Good take. Whitty wanted that one. He's disgruntled. He's beside himself. I was going to say getting Ollis after that solo shot, that's a huge settle down out just to make sure this inning doesn't get out of hand. And that was a good battle back to full count here. But you really, again, want to keep Morris in the yard here.
If you're just joining us, wiffle ball rules, you get 5 balls, and then you get a lob pitch after 5 balls. As Morris puts this one in play, but that'll be an easy out there for Church. Or did it roll foul?
I think it kicked foul at
It
the last
did kick foul,
moment.
okay.
Church was waiting for it on the bag. You don't see those often where you're essentially playing first base and you just get the 3 unassisted. But, yep, it did.
And you can see
certainly
that kick over the line.
Still 2 strikes on him.
And still facing the lob pitches here from Whitty. Would rather have that one back anyway. If you're SEMO, you want to put one in the air here.
Uh-oh.
Not in the air like that, though, as Whitty records the out. The second of the first inning, and that'll lead way to Ryan Voges. A .469 hitter, 11 homers, 18 driven in.
Whitty just quick like a cat, uses it on the base paths and fielding his position on the mound.
You can see the intensity in his face, just very locked in.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you have to be to play and succeed at this level. But I've really just been impressed by the Moonshots' effort in general. It has gone to script. I know they're trailing this game 1-0, but so far it has gone to the blueprint that they need to crown themselves as champions later today. 8 Balls trying to prevent that. Ditto for Voges, trying to tack on another run here in the opening inning of game number 2 of the Dirtyard Classic here from the Dirtyard.
Oof. Great pitch in the bottom corner. He wants those 2 balls he threw for strikes. Going to use those again for sure. as a pitcher, though, in your first AB, it's always a good sigh of relief if you can get on base or get a good swing. A little single here for Vogus would do wonders as he approaches the mound later. Good take there.
Yes, that one just misses the board.
It's a problem you don't have to think about in the major leagues anymore with the universal DH.
Woody trying to get out of this inning with any further damage. Another good take there from Vogus as the count runs 4-2. Ryan, the only player to utilize a headband in the matchup so far today. Swings, but right at Whitty.
A lot of spin on that, but great job by Whitty to stick with it.
Carpenter hits a solo shot to begin the scoring for the 8 balls, but that's all they get. They do lead it, though, 1-0 as we head into the bottom of the first inning. Moonshots coming to bat with a 1-0 lead in this series, looking to close out a championship. We talked a little bit in between games, Rudy, about the pitching matchup. Impressive first inning, I think.
Yeah.
Whitty trying to get comfortable. You're facing somebody like Carpenter. Even when you're locked in and really going, Carpenter can homer at any time, and, of course, he ends up taking him deep. But he comes back with the strikeout of Wallace. 2 more outs, a clean rest of the inning. I think you'd sign up for that if you're Whitty, especially for the opening inning of this game, too.
For sure. This, as we mentioned, this game has every possibility of becoming a slugfest. And to get out only down 1-0, especially when Whitty's first 5 pitches weren't really necessarily close to hitting the board, we'll take that every single time. If he can give 1 run up every inning and give up a total of 6, I think the Moonshots probably win this game.
Mike Speak Sr. coaching Ryan Vogus, who will step in. Taylor Carpenter took the loss in Game 1, the ace of this staff.
Now, you mentioned Vogus' headband. He's a huge wrestling fan, so maybe it's inspired from that, the wrestling garb.
I'm trying to think of the great wrestlers that had headbands. Ultimate Warrior, I think, had a mask. Yes, Macho Man had one. Hulk had like the skull cap sort of thing that he had going. That would have been kind of right in my wheelhouse, kind of the early 90s era with Macho Man and Jake the Snake Roberts and Big Boss Man and Hulk into the Attitude Era, which launched The Rock and Stone Cold, Mankind. But I was one of those people, like, I always hated The Rock. I love him now. He's a great guy, a great personality, but I always rooted against him. I don't know. I rooted against Tiger Woods, too. I'm just not. I don't know why I did that. Now I want him to see him win all the time because you see the window closing.
Well, did you root against him before or after all the drama of 2009, 2010?
Before, and then I became like a fan of his because I wanted the redemption story.
Gotcha.
You know? I always root for the redemption, and ultimately he ended up getting that.
He got the bad guy vibes, and then he suddenly became a sympathy. Oh. Vogus is one of the hardest throwers in the league, and that just bent the GoPro. Straight back. He throws a firm rising fastball, as you'll see from the center field camera view.
Smithy, an MVP of this league and an MVP for our ISC crew. The fact that he just repaired that camera like that for us.
Yep.
We appreciate that. We will have to probably get to that in between innings to make sure we get that operational again. Smithy, a pair of home runs in Game 1, but really it was all about the pitching performance for him. Scattered 5 hits and just 2 runs, 2 solo shots as he strikes out here to open up the home half of the first inning for the Moonshots.
Don't see that too often. Smithy. Oh, there we go.
There goes our GoPro.
Lights out. Smithy does not miss a fastball every now and again, even with some slight rise, but that's a big K for Vogus to settle in, especially with a 1-0 lead.
Always a problem when the screen just goes black like that.
Chin music on Gregory there.
That one hit off Gregory's shoulder blades and I think kicked into the next door neighbor's yard.
He chirps back at Vogus, says, "Hey, I have a family."
If you want to get an idea of the velocity of these throws from Vogus, to have it ricochet off a body and into another person's yard, he throws hard, that's for sure.
Just a light rise there, stays low. It never really got above the blue trim on the bottom of the strike zone there.
Gregory had one of the biggest swings of game one, a 3-run homer after an intentional walk with 2 outs to Smithy to make it a 5-2 game, and the Moonshots were never seriously threatened after that. Great start here for Vogus as he's retired the first 2 batters on strikes.
Well-executed pitch there on the outer half. Looks like it's in the middle part of the plate and just tails away. That's a great 2-strike, 0-2, 1-2 pitch.
Oh, Reggie Wayne had an old saying, look good, play good. Vogus has the top button undone there. He's got the headband going. He's got the facial hair.
Just needs a little chest hair.
Looks pretty good. Playing pretty good, at least so far. Through the first 2 innings, yes. Unfortunately, none of my chest hair is available to be lent out. That is a beautiful mane that is attached to me and is staying with me.
No locks of love donations? Oh, man.
They would be insanely grossed out if they saw what I could give them.
They might call the cops on that one if they got that kind of a donation.
Mike Whitty, the opposing pitcher today for the Moonshots, stepping in for his first at-bat. Big game in game number 1, capped by a solo homer to end the insurance runs for the Moonshots in the 6th inning. Reached base 3 other times, came around to score. What an inning for Vogus.
Fired up.
Strikes out the side, a clean sheet. That's what the 8 Balls need. They take a 1-0 lead into inning number 2 of game number 2 of the Dirtyard Classic here on the ISC Sports Network.
The drive, the take, fouled, and it goes!
Lobbing it to the back of the end zone. They're going to say it's a touchdown.
Left foot gets through. Goal for Vargas. Hamilton will score!
Back at the Dirtyard, Mike Whitty about to get inning number 2 of work underway from the mound. Moonshots trail at 1-0, but they lead this series 1-0. Game 2 of the Dirtyard Classic, the Circle City Wiffle Ball Championship Series. Moonshots, the defending champs. 8 Balls, the established champs. Winners of this Dirtyard Classic in 17 and 19, as you had mentioned. Rudy, 5 of the last 6 Dirtyard Classics they've been a part of, looking to make it championship number 3, which would lead all team members in this 6-team CCW. Now, have you had the same core team members, or was this once a 4-team league, or has it always been 6? Take me through briefly kind of the history.
Last year it was an 8-team league, and some would say, oh, you consolidate down to 6, that means you're not growing. Well, we wanted to make rosters deeper and have the talent pool distributed evenly amongst those 6. So in the offseason, the committee created a free agency and salary cap system, and that's what caused us to go down to 6. And now, like every night at the Dirtyard, there are no blowouts unless there's a pitching mismatch, and it just made for better overall wiffle ball experience this summer.
And you could see it with the standings and the competitive level in the playoffs as well. Your team, the Yackers, obviously not playing here, but competitive.
Right.
The Short Shorts, competitive in those games.
Yeah, and that's actually a great point. You bring up my squad. We finished dead last. We really struggled all season. Myself and a bunch of other guys probably had their career worst years that just all lined up. We were 4-10 in the regular season, but on the last day of the regular season, we went 2-0 against these 8 Balls and the number 2 seed Hounds. So the worst team beat the top 2 teams, and then we won 4 more playoff games in our tournament, and we finished the season in 3rd. Yeah. So shout out to those Yackers. I know they're proud of that run.
Carpenter faced a lob pitch in his first at-bat and homered. Now he's going to get another one here from Whitty as he worked the count to 5 balls.
Whitty has yet to throw a strike to Carpenter. Oof.
That one ripped. Church unable to handle it, but he'll hold him to a single. So Carpenter 2 for 2 in game number 2 as he reaches as the leadoff batter in the 2nd. And here's Allis.
Got some funky spin on that. Looked like he had top spin on it, and it projectiled over a slapping hand from Church there in right.
Now we understand that Allis' jersey says Speak on
Yeah.
it, 34. He is normally number 22, but they switched to the Reds. I'm not sure if Austin just didn't have the Reds in his truck or what.
Either misplaced, or since he was a rookie, they weren't able to get his red one in time. But he is not related to Mike Sr. Don't be fooled.
Of the most violent swingers in this contest that we've seen so far, Allis really swings hard.
He does not get cheated. He is clearly a baseball player, as we mentioned, his Jasper roots in Game 1, an elite program there. He hasn't – it's funny, he hasn't really made baseball adjustments to wiffle ball, but it doesn't seem to have affected him.
That one high and tight from Whitty as the count goes to 4-1. And Whitty has to be careful here with this lineup. You don't want to give too many free passes. Allow a bunch of base runners because at any moment, 3-run homers, grand slams, those can really hurt you. The solo shots, you just kind of grin and bear it. Those are going to happen with a lineup like this, and we saw it happen twice in game number 1, but that was the only damage for the Moonshots.
Allis, again, one of the probably the single most feared slow pitch hitter in the league. And yet he took a fast pitch over the right field fence last game. If he can get into one, ooh, very violent swing.
But only was able to get a piece of that Whitty offering.
Gregory might want to go stand behind that left field fence by that parked black sedan.
Now that is against the rules, correct? Stand.
It would still be a homer,
play.
but you know he can stand back there. I'm just
could retrieve the ball more easily, I guess.
Word of advice. That'd be my defensive strategy. And
big swing. That is. I think that's just going to go foul. And I mean, we're talking about inches.
I'm right down the line, and it was just the slightest bit of hook. There was no wrap to it. It was just fading lightly left.
From our broadcast location, it's kind of tough to tell. I think you can see it just kick left on the replay, but from our broadcast location, like Rudy is right on the line.
Yep.
So as he said, we could tell from up here that one just pushed foul, but we saw, I think it was Smithy in game 1 go just under the yellow line in dead center. So, wiffle ball sounds cliche, but a game of inches for sure there.
You'll usually see a ball hook right or left. That just had a nice light fade, and that's a win for the defense.
Tough play for T. Greg, and he just got him.
Umpire Reed Werner on the third base line, calling from a chair next to his wife.
Carpenter advances to second, first out of the inning, and there you can see, really bang, bang here.
Those long legs, massive quads.
And a great call.
Just look at that. Can we get a zoom in on that quad?
It's
okay if you can't. I understand.
Great job by our replay crew to find that. You can see the rippling quad muscles of Austin Allis for sure, but also you can see that he was just barely about a half a step out at first base for the first one of the inning for the Moonshots. Here's Morris. We have many good-looking people both playing in this game and watching this game, but we also have some good-looking dogs out here, some puppies as well.
We got some good-looking people broadcasting this game too, don't you think?
Oh, I wasn't going to brag like that, but now that
I'll
you
do
bring
it
up,
for
Rudy,
you.
Yes, you are absolutely right. We'll have Eldon get some glamour shots of us coming up here in the later innings as Simo works the count 5-0, and we've seen Whitty be off the board so far in this inning. After really rallying, giving up the solo home run to Carpenter in the first, came back to get the next 3 batters. It's been a little wild so far in this top half of the second.
I was going to say, if Allis was able to park one over by that sedan. Oh, down the line. Great play by Church.
Really nice play by Church.
Saves a run, though.
And he was able to keep Carpenter at third, was unable to get the out, but just the stop by Church prevented the second run of the game for the 8 balls. But now runners on the corners after the single by Simo. And that'll bring up Vogus, who had a really impressive first inning of work on the mound.
A little toe tap there from Whitty, getting ready for sideline catches for the NFL season.
Vogus striking out the side in the first inning and now can help his own cause with a big swing here. Runners on the corners and 1 away.
Falling behind once again. Vogus looking to do damage and help his own cause on the mound as he was lights out in that first inning. Oof.
Yeah. I don't blame him, though, for taking there.
Nope.
You want to make Whitty throw a strike with how he's looked on these previous pitches.
And you're right, with it being a 5-ball count, 3-0 isn't necessarily a guaranteed take like it would be in baseball, but you certainly change your hitting approach or mindset.
That one hits the board there, so Whitty rallies back a bit to run the count full.
Oh.
Really big pitch there, and it froze Voges for the second out.
Huge out there from Whitty. Brings up Carpenter, though.
Voges just smiles and shakes his head. Nothing you can do with that pitch. A terrific
Oh, it's unhittable.
low pitch there from Whitty. Just nicks the bottom of the board. And you see the fist pump there from Mike. He knows that's a really big out, especially with Carpenter stepping to the dish. Carpenter 2 for 2 so far in game 2, homered in the first inning.
4 in a row there from Whitty. Looks like he's dialed in a bit. Maybe get him chased outside the zone here.
Big
Good
swing,
piece.
and that's going to score 1 run. And we're going to start it with runners on the corners. Another big hit from Carpenter. He's driven in both runs so far in game 2, and it's a 2-0 lead for the 8 Balls.
That was a rope. 3 for 3. He's doing a great job of going with the ball today. Normally a guy who likes to pull.
And T. Greg playing in center. That was a tough play. That ball hit so hard that there was nothing much he could do with it to adjust.
Yeah, I think as I was mentioning, as he was going through the windup there, having thrown 4 straight strikes, you got Carpenter down 0-1, being an elite hitter, I might have thrown something off plate there. He gave too much.
1-1 pitch here from Whitty.
Oof.
Big swing from Ollis, but
Violent hack, great catch by the fan. You can't see him in foul territory, but
only able to foul it off. No netting necessary here at the Dirtyard, so fans have to be awake and alert. Keep their eye open for any line drives. You guys have never had like a Jeffrey Mayer type fan interference deal, have you?
no, I can't say anything to that effect. Like, yeah, we'll have fans on the party deck, but usually they know to just keep their hands on their beers and not touch balls batted in play. Oh,
Really big strikeout there for Whitty. So the Moonshots give up a run. Carpenter drives in his second of game number 2, but the damage limited to that. 2-0 8 Balls as we head to the home half of the second here on the ISC Sports Network.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
Back in the Dirtyard, game number 2 of the Dirtyard Classic, the Circle City Wiffle Ball Championship Series. Moonshots took game 1 10-2 if you're just joining us, so they are 1 win away from a best-of-3 series win, but Ryan Voges trying to prevent that. He struck out the side in the opening inning, and he's been backed by 2 run-scoring hits from Taylor Carpenter, a solo homer to lead off this game, and a run-scoring single in the second. And 9 outs into this thing, it is 2-0 8 Balls.
Voges was filthy in that first inning with just that firm, slight rising, fading fastball. Haven't seen an efficient inning out of him like that in a while for the 8 Balls. Again, 3-3 on the year, 6.41 ERA. So he has his bouts with wildness, but that was supremely efficient.
And I don't think you can understate the importance of that. Backs up against the wall elimination game. You know it's all on your shoulders, and you come out in the first inning firing bullets like that.
And just picks up right where he left off. There's 2 in a row. He is locked. This is huge. Like to have a lead early after having your backs against the wall. It just, ooh. That is not a normal pitch for Voges. He learned that from savvy Mike Speak Sr., that little drop ball. He'll use that every now and again.
He works quickly, too. Only 4 pitches to Church for a strikeout for the first out of this.
First time through the order, all guys have K'd. So Voges, again, as I teased in the between game talk, his K per 6 rate is elite.
Here's Smith. He homered twice in game number 1 and was the star on the mound as well.
Oof.
Fouls that one off, 1-1.
That's the kind of stuff where like it's not going to take long for Smithy to start to square him up. Probably maybe his third, fourth at bat. Don't be surprised if he hits a missile somewhere. Good take.
That one hits him 2-1.
That'll leave a mark. Flexes the wrist.
Will rocking the UND Greyhound shorts. Big swing and a miss there. We're going to be your home for UND football once again this season. All home games at Key Stadium, right here on ISC Sports Network.
Good take from Smithy there. Smithy, yes, he's physically talented, but just being a catcher and knowing pitch sequences, he's just smarter than everyone out here as a hitter. Oh, but nothing you can do about that.
Freezes him there. 5 batters, 5 Ks so far for Vogus. A really impressive start for the 8-balls hurler, as he'll face Tyler Gregory with the bases empty and 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. T. Greg lets a strike go past.
Dead center. That's knowing Gregory's aggressive approach. That's where I think he'd be hacking in the ribs. Kidney shot there.
T. Greg shaking off that sting a little bit.
Says, get off my plate. Now, Ryan Vogus, also a member of a national team that competed at NWLA right here this summer. Wiffle ball, which is Griffith, Indiana Wiffle ball.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the region's
Yes,
representative.
Exactly. He is a rat.
In the NWLA.
Ironically, there's a player on that team who has a nickname Rat because his last name is Ratajak. We just call him Rat for short.
Did you guys end up facing that team in this series?
We actually did not. They finished 4th, and they were also last year's champion. They won the title right here at the Dirtyard, beating a team from Minneapolis in 2021. They had another good run. But no, we have run into them at the tournament before. They've actually gotten the best of us a couple times in the same tournament, 2 walk-offs against us. Both of which were by the guy pitching right now, Ryan Vogus.
Finally, the Moonshots will see a lob pitch here as Gregory works 5 balls.
Looks like Vogus is doing a little bit of a different lob pitch. He normally just kind of throws a BP floater. This looks like it's got a little more cut to it. Oh,
Big
no.
swing and a miss there for T. Greg. Throws the bat in frustration. 6 strikeouts for all 6 outs for Vogus so far. Cruising through 2, and the 8-balls have a 2-0 lead in game number 2 of the Dirtyard Classic here on the ISC Sports Network.
2-0. Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds left. Fake players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it. That's the finish. You get a layup, take it, and an and one.
Through 2 innings of game number 2. 8-balls with their back up against the wall, an elimination game for them in this Dirtyard Classic Series. But they've had the upper hand so far. Behind the bat of Taylor Carpenter and the arm of Ryan Vogus, they lead at 2-0 as we enter into the top of the 3rd inning with Connor Morris at the plate.
You know, I felt like I've predicted quite a few things in game 1. This game 2 is not going. I'm kind of looking like an idiot right now. I was thinking slugfest, and here we have 6 Ks through 6 batters and only 2 runs.
It's tough because Woody has actually battled
Yes.
and pitched fairly well. It's just that Vogus has been so lights out so far.
Right.
6 batters, 6 Ks. It's really tough to compare.
Makes for the pace of this game to be incredible. So
Big first out there, though. 3 pitches,
Yes.
3 strikes for Whitty as he gets Simo to open up the away half of the 3rd inning.
well, Vogus, he's only surrendered the 1 lob pitch count. What Whitty's probably gone to it 5 times in 2 innings already, but he's limited the damage somehow. Keeping him in the park with this dead air.
Again, if you can keep this lineup to 5 or 6 runs, you're doing pretty well.
Yes.
And this is, I know they only scored 2 runs in game number 1, but this is the best of the best as far as the lineup is concerned.
Now this very game, this pitching matchup and everything occurred last Sunday in our playoff double elimination that ultimately got us to this matchup. They did play each other already, and the Moonshots got the best of it. It was a great game. the 8 Balls got up 5-0. Moonshots battled right back with Whitty on the mound, settling in and keeping the 8 Balls offense at bay. Tied it up at 5, and then the 8 Balls scored 3 in the bottom of the 5th, I believe. And great pitch from Whitty there.
So count full here to Vogus.
Wouldn't be surprised at all if this was a take mindset from Ryan. Oh,
got him on the board.
Whitty really is dicing right now, to his credit. I mean, the 2-run lead feels huge with the way Vogus is going, but man, Mike is locked in too.
And the
this
game
has been
can
a great
change
matchup.
so quickly.
Yes.
I mean, all you really need is one person to reach, and then Smithy gets a good swing on it, and suddenly it's a tie ball game, and I think they know that. Here's Carpenter. He has driven in both runs for the 8 Balls so far. Homer in the first, RBI single in the second.
Got that one in the tender area. That'll happen. Laughing it off a little bit.
Do any guys wear protection in wiffle ball, or do
I
you
hope
just
not.
let that one go?
That would be kind of goofy. We would never let anyone live that down if they were wearing a cup out here, or even if it was like an elbow guard. Like, come on, dude. What are we doing? It's plastic.
It can sting, though. I can vouch for that. I've not been hit in that area, but bare skin can definitely sting. This Carpenter there takes one off the calf. Whitty trying to make it a 1-2-3 inning for the first time in game number 2.
Just missed with that cutter. Looks like he slowed his arm slot down a little bit there just to try to find the board. Carpenter 3 for 3 again with a homer. All right, he's going to swing. 2 outs, and that's the strategy, obviously. Again, you get 2 up. You want to swing away when you get ball 5 most times, but with 2 outs, like, that is a for sure, no matter which batter you're at in the lineup. Like, this is our chance to get runs. We're not trying to manufacture with 2. We're trying to go big bop here.
Swing for the fences.
Absolutely. Grip it and rip it. Taylor, again, he's been going left side a lot. Honestly, I've noticed a lot of our pull-happy guys, they've been trying to be more hitters than power guys and going opposite field. I want to see – there it is. Called
Carpenter way out of here. That's the
high into the tree.
Biggest home run that we've seen so far, and we've seen plenty. We've seen about a half a dozen through about 8 innings of wiffle ball here. Carpenter goes big fly, his second of the game, and he has accounted for all 3 8 Balls runs, a 3-0 lead.
Back on my game with
Indy.
making predictions. I wanted him to pull something, get into that tree, and he did not sell us short on that one. That was a bomb.
Always trying to join in there with that big swing. He also has incredible power.
Oh, slips.
And he's going to reach because T. Greg wasn't able to field it cleanly, so a 2-out single there for Allis despite the bobble coming out of the box. He reaches.
Tripped over his own calf muscles there.
It happens.
How many more jokes can we make about the man's legs throughout this broadcast? I think it's unending.
I mean, if this series goes the distance,
Yeah.
we've got a lot of time to do it, that's for sure.
We can recycle some, too, if we need to.
Morris takes the first pitch strike.
Oof.
And watches strike 2 go by.
Ever since Morris's solo shot off the lob pitch to tie the game up in game 1, he's kind of been going through it. I think he needs a slump buster here.
We saw him face lob pitches a couple of times in game 1 with varying results. He
Yes.
homered on a lob pitch, but also, I believe, struck out twice on lob pitches, which you can't give away those outs, that's for sure. Let's work the count back to 2-2 here.
And again, you get varying results based on how you get into the lob pitch count. If you go into the lob where you already have 2 strikes on you, that puts a little pressure. Maybe you're thinking my approach is to just slap and get a single to the left side. But if you've got 0 strikes on you, man, just swing away as hard as you can. Good pitch.
Swing and a miss there. And Whitty ends the inning on a strikeout. So the 8 Balls strand 1, but they tack on another. Taylor Carpenter, a big game so far. All 3 RBI as the 8 Balls have a 3-0 lead heading to the home half of the 3rd in Game 2 of the Dirtyard Classic here on the ISC Sports Network.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is gone.
There you
oh,
go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Lynn's way.
That it is
Oh!
Wrestler! Whoa!
6 strikeouts so far for Ryan Voges, and if you want to get an idea for how filthy his stuff has been through the first 2 innings, here's an overlay. Those are 2 different pitches. One that obviously goes way wide and the other one that nicks the board, but you see about halfway through, that ball is in the same exact spot, and then one of them goes out of pitcher and the other one goes right to the board. So you talk about locked in. Ryan Voges locked in through 2 innings, but again, Rudy, things can change on a dime, especially when you're facing Will Smithy later on in this lineup, but also Mike Whitty has had a nice start to this series so far. A big performance from the dish in game 1, and he's pitched well so far despite giving up a run each inning. He's limited the damage to just 3 as he takes 2 strikes here to begin this at bat. Voges picking up exactly where he left off.
Has Voges thrown 3 balls in this game
Swing
so
and a
far,
miss.
maybe?
7 outs, 7 strikeouts for Ryan Voges.
Now the regulation record for strikeouts in a 6-inning game is 17, so that's all but 1 out being recorded by K.
Wow.
So he's on pace.
Now, who threw that? Do you remember?
It was me.
It was.
It was
Okay,
me.
so look, you
I didn't want to.
brag
I
on
wasn't
yourself.
going to say it, but I
Look at
appreciate
that.
you asking. Yeah, I had.
So Rudy Lyon, the
Yeah.
record holder.
Yeah, Mike's.
Wow.
It's not the single game record, but because we used to have extra innings and we eliminated those because guys would rag out their arms.
Sure.
The record is probably Caleb Yonkman, where he might have had 30, but that game went 15 innings. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
That's incredible, though, 17 strikeouts. You think about the Pacers almost had a perfect third quarter one year, and Josh McRoberts messed it up by missing a basket with like 30 seconds left.
Of course,
I think.
Josh McRoberts did.
Do you think about the one person that you didn't strike out in that game?
At the time, now that was 3 or 4 years ago, I do remember it happening and just being so ridiculously locked in. Like I was honestly on a tear the way Voges is
Sure.
right now, just hitting the board. You're never down in the count, and you just keep hitters off balance. But I think it might have been. It honestly might have been a ground ball back to me too. So I think I recorded all 18 outs. It was just
Wow.
17 of them were by K. All right, taking walks here.
The first batter to reach is Austin Church, and can you blame him? The way
No.
that Voges has pitched so far, just get on base. You've got Smithy coming up.
And that was with, how many strikes did he have on him there? 1 or 0?
I think he had 2.
2. Okay,
Yeah.
yep. That's definitely the call you want to make with 2 strikes. Good hold. That was almost an identical pitch of what we saw with the overlay, and it just had a little bit more cut and fade to it.
Now, when it comes to check swings,
Yeah.
do you have to offer at it the entire way for it to be a strike? Is that kind of how you do it? Because
know-
you see there with Smithy, and it looked like that would be, if this was baseball, that looks
Yes.
like that would be a swing.
It's different, definitely different than baseball. And there have been a couple guys who just have really, like Dan Ugla, like strong wrists,
Sure.
where they'll check and the bat will actually flex or even like bend and break because it's only 10 ounces of plastic. But it's really umpire's discretion. It's not an easy call to make, and you almost have to be right by the batter's box to make that call. But usually it's kind of an honor system.
And to be fair, we have a much better vantage point at
Yes.
that. We are right over the batter's box, so we can kind of see. And
Okay, looks like Voges has lost the mojo a little bit, and this is a big spot for Will. He's got to be thinking rip it and grip it here. Okay, he's seeing it now. Again, a little light curveball, one that got Gregory in his last at-bat. I got to think Will wants something low and in. He does a great job of keeping his hands inside the ball.
yeah,
It's
the
4 in a row.
only other lob pitch for Voges was a strikeout, I believe.
Yep. Okay, so now 5 more. I think they're honestly. Okay, there's a strike. I wondered if they were tempting him into taking the double there, which isn't a bad idea. Ooh,
Big
swings
swing
through.
mix there.
2 strikes on him now. Off the body.
You can see even one of the best hitters in this league
That
puts it up in the air.
Swirling. Oh, stays in.
Just off the wall. That is going to score.
Forrest has wheels.
A run.
Double for Smithy.
Moonshots on the board. An RBI double for Smithy makes it a 2-1 game. That was another ball.
How?
Similar to,
Yeah.
I think, Smithy's home
Yes.
run. That one hung up and eventually went over the fence. That ball just hung up and just sort of dropped straight down.
Maybe there's some wind up above our heads, probably 20, 30 feet, because that was a moonshot from the moonshot that just didn't carry the distance.
Nearly a leaping catch there.
Yep. Gregory just missed it.
And he knows it for the second out of the inning there as that soft fly ball goes into the hands of Ollis.
That's honestly the approach I would have thought Gregory was going to take in his last at bat, just kind of ambush the first pitch fastball, but he just missed that one.
Here's Whitty. Swing and a miss. He has struck out twice.
Interesting defensive alignment here from the 8 balls. Would expect Carpenter to be closer on the infield grass on the left side. No, now he's creeping in. I think they're figuring it out. If Whitty can just tap one over there, that's likely a run. Oof.
Barely able to get a piece of that one.
Good hold.
Holds up there. And now a 2-2 count to Whitty. Swing and a miss. Vogus gets out of the inning. Moonshots get on the board, but still trail by 2. It's 3-1 in game number 2 of the Dirtyard Classic here on the ISC Sports Network.
Shot at the buzzer. She got it! Oh my goodness, what a shot!
Hello.
Did it again.
Hello.
Made the highlight reel again. That goes to Menzer and all kinds of room to run. Down the middle of the field, and he will not be touched. Jackson, hello. There we go.
Stokes throws it, caught, ball ricochets.
Wow.
A huge hit.
Wow.
This has been an amazing display of goal scoring.
Through 3, it is a 3-1 game. Indy 8 Ball is leading the Mid-City Moonshots. Moonshots with a 1-0 series lead. A best of 3 is this Dirtyard Classic for the Circle City Wiffle Ball Championship. Alongside Rudy Lyon, I'm Derek Schultz. Thanks to our ISC crew today. Jordan Shue and Sean Walker back in the truck, and our 4-cameraman crew of Alan Hughes, Eldon Wheeler, Alex Hadley, and Dennis Glover. Definitely the A-team out here. As I mentioned, Rudy, we put out the availability sheet for all the games that you want to work, for all the sports that we do at ISC, and I think Jordan can attest to this. Every single person, even though this is a Sunday, which is usually an off day for us, every single person wanted to work this wiffle ball matchup and be here at the hallowed Dirtyard to see a championship being won by one of these two teams.
Well, if you're going to work one Sunday a year, it might as well be this one.
There you go.
And thanks for saving a spot for me on the crew. I appreciate it.
Vogus, 8 strikeouts from the mound, so 8 of the 9 outs have come via K, and we'll see if he can do some damage at the plate. All the damage so far really done by Taylor Carpenter. A couple of homers, an RBI single as well to account for the 3 runs for the 8 balls, as they've notched 1 in the first, second, and third innings of this contest thus far.
So Vogus has lost that perfect, I guess you call it immaculate strikeout game pace. Could tie the record. Ooh, good cut from Vogus. Similar to Gregory, I think he knows he missed that one. Hard to say that when the ball's coming in at 85 with that much break.
Lead, come on. 3-2.
3-2 pitch here for Vogus.
Come on.
And lets that one go. Runs the count full to 4-2.
Well, that might have been off the plate, but it was coming back over. A good fight there by Vogus.
Good to waste that pitch with 2 strikes especially.
That one was middle.
Freezes Vogus. And a strikeout to open up the top half of the 4th inning for Whitty.
That's all right.
Let's take you back to this launch shot by Carpenter, biggest homer of the day, up into the tree. That happened in the third inning. Pair of homers so far for Carpenter here in game number 2.
Whitty yet to get Carpenter out in this game, I believe. 4 for 4.
Pair of singles and pair of homers.
Yep.
For Carpenter in his previous 4 at-bats in game number 2.
I'm sure that's got to feel good, especially I think he was, 1 for 6 in game 1?
Did struggle from the plate a bit,
Yeah.
and then it really wasn't until the 6th inning that things fell apart for him on the mound.
Yep.
Big rip. Church makes the out. And the first 2 batters down here in the top of the 4th inning.
Some more funky spin on that one. Church did a good job of sticking with it, catching it cleanly, and making the flip.
Here's Austin Allis. Did hit a solo home run in game 1, but overall, especially considering the season he's somewhat had a quiet afternoon thus far, but we're still early into it.
He did kind of slow down towards the home stretch of the season. I'd say the last 2 regular season Sundays, and even last week at the playoffs. He had his fair share of homers, but wasn't his normal bomb-hitting self, I'd say. So maybe hitting that dreaded sophomore slump at the tail end of his rookie year, which that doesn't really exist in wiffle ball. The trajectory always seems to go up as you get accustomed to hitting in the league.
Does that go up with the amount of beer that's drank as well, or does it depend on the guy? Because I know, like, Smithy doesn't drink while he's playing.
Right. You read the article. Yeah. So it's funny, the 2 stars that were facing off in game 1 on the mound, one absolutely will not touch the stuff, but Taylor Carpenter seems to play a little looser when he's got a couple beers in him.
Funny to have that dichotomy with the 2 MVP candidates.
Right.
One, okay, I'm pro-alcohol, the other one, no, not while I'm playing. But I know from being here at the All-Star game last year afterwards, once the lights are off and everybody can relax a little bit, I know they like to throw down.
It was something, I'll tell you that. There was a lot of, I'll say, unsober batting practice going on after the game. And that's a celebration of the season, so why not?
Sure.
Ooh.
Allis trying to tee off on that one, held back, but was only able to get a piece of it.
Ooh, that looks like it stuck to Whitty's hand a little bit there.
Rips that one, and that's out of here. Second homer of the day for Allis, and tacks on another run for the 8 Balls. They lead it out 4-1.
His ears were burning. He knew I was talking some smack about his last couple weeks, and he sends it over the left field fence. The ball kind of died at the end. Looked like could have been like over 150 feet of a bomb, probably capped at 110.
But still off the bat, clearly a no-doubter as he sends that one to left field. So now at least 1 run in every inning for the 8 Balls so far. Important in an elimination contest game number 2 like this as they try to keep their season and championship hopes alive.
And that's the pace we kind of thought. I was like, hey, that's a win for Whitty if he can just give up 1 run an inning. It's just a matter of time until the Moonshots square up Vogus, or if Vogus has another relatively wild inning like last inning that didn't really affect him negatively.
I mean, wild comparatively speaking to the previous 3 where he was basically, Pedro in 1999 in the first 3 innings.
99 Pedro. Was there a better – I mean, I'm a Tigers fan, so I tend to think, 2011 Verlander.
Oh, yeah.
Going 24-5 with 250 Ks.
Verlander's still at it, man.
Yes.
He's just – what an incredible player. Doc Gooden in '84 had a video game-like season.
Yep.
I think Maddox had one of those years where his ERA was under 2 now, but he was never like a big strike out 14 guys sort of player like Doc or
I mean, he's like
Pedro.
What is it? The Maddox is a 78 pitch complete game.
That's right. Incredible. Morris strikes out. So the damage limited to 1 run, but still the 8 Balls keep tacking them on. They now have a 4-1 lead as we head into the home half of the 4th inning. Game number 2 of the Dirtyard Classic here on the ISC Sports Network.
Still on his feet. Stevens lunges. Are you kidding me?
Champions of Marion County.
Unbelievable. Touchdown.
Living up to that last name. Wabash has the lead for the first time today. So that was going to be a highlight reel. Oh, baby.
Yeah, you can celebrate after that.
Back in the dirt yard. How about that? Check your head, Beastie Boys. In my Beastie Boys discography rankings, I think Check Your Head would actually be number 2. And the only reason I say that is because Ill Communication was the first Beasties album that I had. And I think you're always kind of partial to the first one. And that had Get It Together with Q-Tip and Sure Shot and a couple of other great Beastie tracks. But Check Your Head definitely way up there. I mean, Beastie Boys had a ton of classics. Hello Nasty, License to Ill, Paul's Boutique. I need to get that shirt.
Steal it off his back.
Into the bottom of the 4th here. It's Austin Church as the Moonshots trying to cut into this 4-1 lead, and those runs are going to have to come soon here as Voges is halfway through, and he is still dealing. 8 strikeouts for the first 9 outs for Ryan Voges.
I'd call that a beastie performance so far.
Absolutely. Big swing and a miss there from Church as the count goes to 2-2. Got a piece of it, but it still hit the board, so it doesn't matter.
Can we put in a request for Brass Monkey between innings?
Does Brendan, can he spin that over there? Is he the
Yeah, he's
DJ?
the DJ.
We'll have to do that one.
Commissioner and DJ Dudas.
Big reason why I like the Beastie Boys so much is because they would randomly mention Knicks players. So Haircut Correct like Anthony Mason was a track. I got Sparks like, or I got Heart like John Starks hitting Mad Sparks. Pass me the mic and I'll be rocking the whole park. Now I'm not a rapper by trade, unless you can tell. I'm just kind of reading off the lyrics, but.
Are you sure this is the career for you? I'm thinking you might need to try something else. Maybe some spoken word at a jazz night.
Sean Walker's just face palming into the truck right now because he's the big hip hop enthusiast of our crew, and I'm just butchering these terrible lyrics.
All right, Smithy up again here. He's ahead in the count. This is perfect situation for Voges with no runners on. Solo bomb doesn't really hurt you here.
Yeah, of course, if you're Voges, I mean, you want to stay in this groove, but there are worse places to be than a 3-run lead, bases empty, 1 out in the 4th inning here facing Smithy.
Well, it looked like Will thought about walking to first, but after the moon ball that he hit last inning, that ball was probably gone. It had a trajectory for left, and it somehow ended up by the left center party deck. He's got to get on top of a ball and hit a line drive.
And do you think to yourself, look, we need to get after Voges at some point here. Let's at least get it in his head by swinging away here as opposed to just taking the base.
You also, in wiffle ball, do put a lot of pressure on the defense to adjust accordingly when base runners are on versus when the bases are empty. So it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other, but Will Smithy should not be taking walks in any situation. Looks like they're trying to tempt him again. That might be a strategy, just throwing 5 balls off the board. Hey, take the double. We'll tempt you. Maybe even a triple, honestly. Oh, turns on one. That was way inside.
Tried to sneak it inside of that foul pole there in left field, but was unable to do so as that goes into the neighbor's yard for the 2nd strike.
I think Will knows that was a bad swing because there's no way. Well, he can inside out a ball with – oh, no.
And a big out there.
That's huge.
For Voges.
If you can't already tell, again, Yankee fan call out here, and I'm sure you've been watching the documentary series, but Will has a very Jeter-esque type swing where he stays inside the ball incredibly well and flips to right center. Thoughts on that documentary series? I'm sure you've been watching.
I actually have not seen it yet.
Oh, my.
I was going to just go ahead and knock them all out.
Okay.
We actually, about 2 weeks ago, had COVID in the house for the first time.
Really?
But we go through, like, the morbid documentaries is what I really like. So I watched, my wife and I watched this thing on Chernobyl, and then we watched something on 3 Mile Island. I don't know, something about nuclear meltdowns that really wet our whistle.
Is that the way that's going at the house right now?
Yeah, I guess
nuclear
so,
meltdowns?
And then we watched that Warren Jeffs creep documentary, which was awful, too. So now, yes, we will eventually, long-winded way of saying we will get to the Jeter stuff. And I know Jordan Shue, just a huge Derek Jeter fan in our truck, has been watching every single one. That one ripped.
Great ball from Gregory.
Goes all the way to the wall.
It's a shame that was only a single to the deepest part of the park because that was absolutely pieced. And Voris is going to step on as the runner.
Gregory reaches with 2 outs as the Moonshots trying to put something together here halfway through game number 2 against Ryan Voges.
Just adds to the importance of getting that out of Smithy here. now that you got 2 outs and only a runner on first. I myself, big Derek Jeter fan. He's part of the reason why I wore number 2 in high school. He's from Kalamazoo, Michigan.
That's right.
We've shouted out Kalamazoo before. I went to high school in Jackson, Michigan, about 90 minutes from there, and wasn't a Yankee fan, but I always, like myself and everyone else that didn't live in New York or the Northeast, we hated the Yankees, but you always had respect for the captain.
Tigers had some great battles with the Yankees as Voges strikes out Whitty, and that ends the 4th inning. I'll save that thought for the top of the 5th. We'll come back as the 8-Balls step back in, trying to add to their lead. They've got a 4-1 advantage right now, heading to the 5th inning, game number 2 of the Dirtyard Classic here on the ISC Sports Network.
Brewer jams it home.
That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half. Throw it up for Tillman.
Oh, my goodness.
122-6-0 for Penn.
What a swim! 6 of them.
Back to the Dirtyard. Mike Whitty trying to limit the 8-Balls scoring as the Moonshots have not been able to find it offensively against Ryan Voges through the first 4 innings here. 8-Balls with a 4-1 lead in what is an elimination game 2 for them, trailing the Moonshots 1-0. Fans out here at the Dirtyard for a nice, mild, overcast day. Perfect baseball weather, really, not only for the competitors but also for the fans. Not sweating bullets, 0 humidity. Just a nice afternoon overall here on the south side of Indianapolis.
Shades of autumn.
That's
I'd
right.
say. It's coming.
Pumpkin spice lattes right around the corner.
September 1, can't wait. I actually can't stand pumpkin spice lattes. Good swing.
Rips out one but foul. I mentioned, you kind of have the best of both worlds. If you like Jeter and you like the Tigers, a lot of those Jeter-led teams, I know the 06 team, which had that loaded lineup, Tigers knocked them out, knocked them out again in 2010. And I think knocked him out again in 2012, right?
That was, you'll see it in part of the documentary in the later episodes, talking about Jeter's broken ankle that happened in Game 1 of that 2012 series that led to that sweep. But the 06 series, that was like a huge weight off of Tiger fans' backs. Like, we beat the Evil Empire. And they eventually went to the World Series and laid an egg. We won't talk about it. But you remember Joel Zamaya?
Yeah,
oh,
the reliever,
man. He was like one of the first guys that was consistently over 100 miles per hour, and then he obviously back then no one's arm was really prepared for that, and he flamed out pretty quick. But
yeah, that's Yankees lineup. I think they were calling it Murderers Row and Cano, and it was like Sheffield and peak A-Rod, and it was a really good lineup, and it just completely stymied. I think the Tigers won that series in 4 games.
I believe you're right, yeah.
And then went on to the World Series, unfortunately falling short to the Cardinals, who I've always kind of hated, even though they're a National League team and don't have a lot of effect on the Yankees. I can't stand their fans.
Well, you remember that 06 team, that Cardinals team was 82-80.
That's right.
And they made the playoffs and then won the freaking World Series. I was so mad. I thought the Tigers were going to just run through that matchup.
It's a stupid thing to say, like weakest champion, but they clearly were one of the weaker champions. But that's the beauty of baseball. You get hot and it happens. Ripped by Voges. Is it going to get over?
Oh,
no.
What a play.
Nice play by Gregory. Kept that in the yard. Deflects it to himself for the first out of the inning. Voges just laughs as he goes back to the dugout with his team.
With the dead air today, it's like if you hit it, oh, wow, that really was over the fence by a good portion, wasn't it? With the dead air that we've had today, if you hit anything high, it's not going to carry. I think the key is similar to like what Allis did to right field or what Carpenter's done a couple times. You got to hit something on a line for it to get out with ease.
Yeah, really, as you said, the only one that got out that got hit way up into the air was Carpenter. Just he hit it into the next county.
Yeah.
But all the other ones that we've seen have been the ones that have gotten out quick, that have been line drives that have stayed relatively low. But that one, I mean, if T. Greg doesn't get a hand on that, it's gone.
Yep.
And you could see from our replay that clearly was going to get over the wall. But a terrific defensive play, probably the best defensive play that we've seen so far, as Carpenter swings and misses. Strike number 3 there. Whitty clean through the first 2 outs of this inning.
We can't forget about that relay and right, though. It pegged the runner
right.
at third. That was a great live ball play versus a fly ball from Gregory there.
And that was, I believe, when that was still a 2-2 game in game number 1.
Mm-hmm. That had all the means of swinging momentum, and fortunately for the Moonshots, they didn't let it swing for the 8 balls.
Whitty will try to escape the inning without giving up a run for the first time today. It's been all 1 notches, but still notches nonetheless for the 8 balls. 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth.
What's the phrase, death by a million paper cuts or something like that?
That's what it's been so far, which is surprising with this lineup. I mean, that's the one thing that's been kind of the surprise of today, is that even with the lead, we really haven't seen the 8 balls offensively flex muscle, and I think that's a testament to Smithy and
sure.
Whitty has pitched well, but man, Ryan Vogus just completely locked in on the other side for the 8 balls.
I think it's gonna be key for the Moonshots next at bat. They're gonna have to get some production out of Whitty and Church in the bottom to set up runners for Smithy.
And a clean inning there for Whitty. 1, 2, 3. We will go to the home half of the 5th inning. Moonshots need some runs, trailing 4-1 here in game number 2 of the Dirtyard Classic. And you're watching it on the ISC Sports Network.
The drive, the take, fouled, and it goes!
Lobbing it to the back of the end zone. They're going to say it's a touchdown.
Left foot gets through. Goal for Vargas. Hamilton will score!
Watching some great wiffle ball here on the south side of Indianapolis. The Circle City Wiffle Ball Championship Series, the Dirtyard Classic, game number 2. Happy to bring it to you here on the ISC Sports Network alongside Deputy Commissioner of the CCW, Rudy Lyon. I'm Derek Schultz. We've been talking a little baseball, or mixing that in the commentary so far. I was just checking during the commercial break. Albert Pujols, a former Cardinal, now I guess current Cardinal, second stint with them. 2 homers today, up to 689 for his career. So we could see somebody else reach that 700 homer mark, which is just incredible to think about, that you could hit 700 homers in your career. It really is ridiculous.
It's hard to believe he's been around for 22 years. Feels like yesterday he was winning Rookie of the Year. Good swing from Church, leading off the inning. As I mentioned, this is where they're going to need to start putting pressure on. They need base runners for the top of the order. Ooh, great pitch from Vogus there as he switches it up. Doesn't bring in the rising fastball, but a drop ball. Tried it again.
And you might as well at 0-2 just bring out the tricks, even if you have to waste a pitch. That one inside on Church as he works the count to 2-2. Had a big 2-run double, which led to the game being broken open in game 1 in the 6th inning.
Oof.
Church stays alive, makes good contact, but rips that foul.
The fans sitting on the left field line, just short of the third base line, definitely, hopefully they've got some insurance.
And a big swing and a miss there for Church.
Good pitch.
The 10th strikeout for Ryan Vogus. So 13 outs, 10 of them via K for Vogus. Just an incredible pitching performance thus far. We'll see if he can continue to solve Will Smithy, who does account for the only run so far in game number 2. He homered twice in game 1, drove in 4. Had an RBI double back in, I believe, the 3rd inning.
Developing story over here. You may be able to hear some feedback, but we have an arm warming up in the bullpen for the 8 balls, and it's Connor Morris, who isn't a usual pitcher. He can throw strikes, but whether that's being used for this game or for our game 3 starter, that could be a huge development if Carpenter doesn't have the stamina for a second game today.
With as much as Carpenter labored there, especially in that last inning, you wonder, you know, even if you're planning to start him, do you think about, okay, maybe we can squeeze 3 innings out of him and then go to Simo? as the next pitcher. But it'll be an interesting, if we do get to a Game 3, obviously this game's still in question, but if we do get to a Game 3, it'll be interesting to see what the strategy play is for the 8 Balls. But they have to be just thrilled with the performance that they've gotten so far through 4 1/3 from Ryan Voges.
I will say that is okay. He's going to take his walk. They know the situation. They need base runners. 1 down with 2 strikes. Can't blame that decision with 2 strikes.
And a testament, too, to how well Voges has pitched so far, that a player of Smithy's caliber would just decide, yeah, you know what? And we saw him with that decision swing away and lightly pop out.
Gregory is all over Voges right now. He's hit a rope to center, and then he just missed 2 pitches. So that also testament to Gregory and Smithy trusting his protection behind him. Hey, a guy behind me seeing the ball well. Let me get on base, see if he can hit a 2-run bomb instead of me hitting a solo.
And he just got under it, that's all.
Good pitch, low and in.
Yeah, even if Whitty offered at that, there's nothing you can do with a pitch like that.
Unhittable.
Big swing and a miss there from Whitty as he finds himself in an 0-2 hole. 2 away, 1 on here in the bottom of the 5th. Moonshots looking for some offense.
Whitty's got looks like his swing has gotten a little bit longer this game. He needs to shorten up, maybe choke up. He's got a lot of space down the left field line. That's a for sure single. Good
and
pitch.
A big swing and a miss. 11 strikeouts for Ryan Voges, and we are through 5. A 4-1 lead for the 8 Balls as we head to the 6th. Game number 2 of the Dirtyard Classic here on the ISC Sports Network.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
There's the Cup, the NWLA National Tournament that Circle City Wiffle Ball representatives won last month. We're going to crown a Circle City Wiffle Ball champion today here at the Dirtyard. This game brought to you by our friends at AmeriFence. You see that beautiful fence out there in center field and that big banner? AmeriFence built that fence, and they can take care of your fencing needs as well. They're Indiana's leader in fencing. AmeriFence specializes in custom-built cedar fences, cedar decks, maintenance-free ornamental aluminum, steel fencing, vinyl and composite decks, anything and everything. AmeriFence, simply the best. Final inning here of game number 2. 8 Balls looking to add to their 4-1 lead, and we saw last game in game number 1 a similar situation just flipped. The Moonshots had a 3-run lead entering their 6th inning, and they doubled that by scoring 5 more runs, putting that game away for a 10-2 victory. So the 8 Balls trying to leave no doubt, but not sure it matters with the way Ryan Voges has pitched so far through 5 innings. He's been incredible today. And that's really saying something, you know, considering Carpenter and Smithy we saw, and Smithy pitched a terrific game 1, but, you know, Voges, just from a single performance of what we've seen today, 11 strikeouts, he's been unbelievable.
Certainly outperforming the stat sheet as we have in front of us. You know, the over 6 ERA, again, high K per 6 rate, but keeping the Moonshots offense, which really did a great job of manufacturing runs last game. They have no base runners to manufacture with 10 Ks.
Simo will see a lob pitch here.
No strikes on him, so he's got plenty of wiggle room. He wants to wait for his pitch. He slips out of the box.
And that's going to be the first out of the inning.
Doesn't even make it out of the box after the slip.
Morris upset with himself after that one with the lob pitch, but with a 3-run lead, maybe not as critical. But still, you want to take advantage of every lob pitch opportunity that you have. That'll lead to Voges.
Just got robbed of a homer in his last at-bat by T. Greg, affectionately known in the league, Tyler Gregory. He really probably reached over the fence a good 5-6 feet. It's 97 out to that left center mark. Ball probably had a max distance of 102, and Gregory outstretched his arm over the fence and brought it back and snagged it.
It was right around, if you've seen it from watching at home, it was right around that Dirtyard banner, Twitch banner sign where T. Greg was. And didn't field it cleanly either, just kind of deflected it to himself and secured the catch. But one of the better defensive plays that we've seen so far this afternoon for sure.
Okay, Bogus with another opportunity here.
Woody's lost the strike zone here a little bit in the 6th inning as back-to-back batters to face the lob pitch. He was able to retire Morris. We'll see here with Vogus as he looks to add to the lead for the 8 balls.
Let's go.
Takes a 1 demo pitch there. Now again, he gets 3 strikes still on 5-0 if he hits foul balls or swings through. That's going to kick foul. So, for example, that hit the infield grass lip there and kicked foul. That's going to be 1 strike. If he can take another pitch on the board, he can foul off as many as he'd like or swing through 1 more, and he'd still have an opportunity to hit. You inherit the count from fast pitch is what essentially that means.
Bogus confirming that 1 strike, so he knows what he's working with.
Good lead. Great lead. Come on.
Thinks about that one, but ended up laying off.
You'll see guys really like work into their swing path, just tracking every ball. Looks like he was on a pass there. I can't recall what ball count that was, but he might have been thinking a double.
I think that was the 5th right there.
Yeah, so that was probably take, and they were going to take a double.
That one ripped, but
on a line.
Right at T. Greg.
That one did not hang in the air like his last one. That
second out of the inning.
Didn't have the distance, but certainly the trajectory you need to hit a homer out to left today.
And we've seen a couple of outs like that. Smithy put one away, I think, on Carpenter, who hit it right back into the box against him. So sometimes you make good contact, but you just hit it right at a defender. And we've seen that happen several times this afternoon. Carpenter's had a big game, too, here. He's driven in all 4 for the 8 balls. Pair of homers.
Looking to add another insurance run, keep them at the grand slam distance heading into the last licks for the Moonshots. Certainly do not want to get to a lob pitch count after the nuke he hit into Doyle's tree in one of his previous at-bats. Ball might still be rising for all we know.
Especially when you consider the lob pitch. Is that something that a pitcher and a team thinks about, avoiding a grand slam situation like this? Like, it, obviously you'd rather have a 4-run lead than a 3-run lead, but do you feel it even more in a sport like this one where grand slams could happen at any time with that lob pitch?
I'd say yeah, because at any moment's notice, like you talk about, you're basically gifting an opportunity, if there's base runners on, 3 in particular, to hit a home run and tie the game up. We've had just playoff games last week where it was a 4-run lead and it was vanished because of a lob pitch grand slam.
Good battle here between Whitty and Carpenter. As that one hits his shoulder, run the count to 4-2.
Got him some off of it, man.
Freezes Carpenter. And that'll end it for the top half of the 6th inning. Moonshots coming to bat now or never as they try to get back into this Game 2 of the Dirtyard Classic here on the ISC Sports Network.
Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds left. Fake players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it. That's the finish. You get a layup taken and an and one.
Ryan Voga's looking to put a capper on a terrific season-saving pitching performance for his 8 balls team as they try to force a 3rd and final Game 3 of the Dirtyard Classic here on the ISC Sports Network. Alongside Rudy Lyon, I'm Derek Schultz. Little baby there.
Son of Thomas Hopkins, the captain and manager of the Pork Pistols, newborn just a couple months ago.
I remember when my son was that big for about, I don't know, 5 minutes seemingly. He was 10 pounds when he came out, so he was a pretty big boy to begin with. He was in there about 2 weeks late. So he had a little more time to simmer in the oven, I guess.
Simmer in the oven. That's a good way to refer to it. For
my wife told me
infant.
to never explain it that way again. But she's not here and she's
and
not
you're doing
watching,
it on air.
So I'm just going to go ahead and
for all of Twitch, YouTube, and ISC to hear. Incredible.
Here's Austin Church trying to kickstart a rally here for the Moonshots. It does make contact.
That's a
and
double.
That's going to drop in. And it's going to be 2 bases. A big start to the inning for the Moonshots as Church solves Vogus for the first time this afternoon.
There's the production we were talking about from the bottom of the order. Church similarly had a big double late in game 1, and here he is doing it again in game 6. So it may take him a while to get into the groove, but he clutches up in the late innings.
And that was a long run there for Vogus. He really hustled to try to make the out, and we'll see if that impacts him at all here in this 6th inning, as he's thrown a lot of pitches, but a perfect strike right there to Smithy to lead him off.
And just instantly you can already tell there's excitement and momentum in the Moonshots chatter and dugout.
1-1 pitch here. Big swing and a miss, and what a pitch there from Vogus.
Got to think with the talent and hitting ability of Will, he's not trying to do too much here with 2 strikes, just single to the right side.
That one bounces in front of the plate. Run the count to 2-2. Big swing and a miss.
Huge out to keep the tying run off base for Gregory here, as he's been honestly seeing the Vogus's pitch the best so far. Gotta think Vogus knows that. He might mix in something different here.
8 balls is 2 outs away from forcing a game 3. We'll see if Gregory can have a little more luck in this at-bat. He has been kind of snake-bitten, as you mentioned, Rudy.
He's seeing it great, just the results haven't been there outside of a ball he laced off the fence in center.
He's got a little bit under. A couple of what looked like home run opportunities or home run level swings, and didn't make the right contact.
Just missed that one again. That looked like it had a little more rise.
See that buzz his head there.
Ooh, that buzzes his hip.
Takes one off the body.
What's the phrase? Buzz the tower, watch your lips, chin music, all the up and in cliches.
That's right.
Another one. He's got permanent real estate on Gregory's left front shoulder.
No charging the mound or anything like that. This is a gentleman's game, wiffle ball.
Almost another one. Okay, tying run is now on base, or at the plate, excuse me, for Mike Whitty. Again, not a power threat, but if they do get into a ball 5 situation, I guarantee Whitty's going to be taking his march to first.
And that's why that Smithy out was huge, because let's say Smithy had reached there, Gregory probably swings away at a lob pitch.
Well, I won't say it's a guarantee. If he has 2 strikes on him, he's probably taking it. If he has 0 or 1, because we saw Whitty exemplify some home run power in game 1, so he could tie it up with 1 swing.
Did homer in the 6th. We'll see if he can do it again.
Uh-oh. Vogus is losing it a little bit. His sweeping fastball is not sweeping like it used to. 3-0, definitely a take. 4-0. All of those 4 pitches were sailed in the same location, so it's got to be a mechanics issue for Vogus right now. Could use a mound visit from Speak, honestly. Closer, but
a difficult game. You know, you could be cruising like Vogus was, but then things on the line here in the 6th. This is a tough lineup to get through.
Let's see. There's some disagreement in the Moonshots dugout about what should happen here. 5-0. Whitty's going to get 3 strikes to work with. If he takes the walk, you have the go-ahead run at the plate and Church, who just doubled, and then pretty much a guarantee that Smithy would get to bat. But Whitty, in a moment's notice, could tie this game up with a home run.
What'd be your play here? Would you swing away?
Man, this is a really tough one. With 0 strikes, I would say swing. I trust Mike enough. I think he might be a little bit in his head this game since he hasn't been hitting well. Uh-oh. and it doesn't work out. But that's all right, honestly, because you still have the tying run on base. 2 outs, though.
We'll see if Church can keep game 2 alive for the Moonshots. He led off this inning with a double, but that runner has not moved.
If that situation happens in a vacuum, I'd say swing, but probably knowing that you can guarantee that Will's going to get another at-bat, you probably take the walk
That
there.
was I think, the wild
Yep.
card that would have pushed me. I mean, you say hindsight's 20/20. It's
Yep.
already happened, right? And Woody
Yep.
had the out, but if he homers, maybe we're having a
Yep.
different conversation. But I'm kind of with you. That
Yep.
was what was going through my head.
If Church gets – now that's going to be really curious because Church has some pop. Again, the air's kind of dead to left today, and that's where he hits his homers. You might – and look, we got some winds blowing across the field now, left to right.
And here at 3-0, if I'm Church, I'm not being very aggressive. A big
Right.
strike, though, from Vogus to get back in this count. Because with Smithy behind me and
Yep.
2 on, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Oh, that's gonna.
Oh, did you go over the line?
I think
I
it
think
made
it
the
did go.
line.
I
I
think it
don't
went
think he
over.
made contact with the ball. Holy smokes!
Wow, so an infield single is going to
That's-
load the bases for Smithy.
If you guys watching didn't see what happened there, don't understand. That was a trickler. That did he touch it? He missed it. I think he missed. He was going to try to kick it, and the ball spun away from his foot. It landed on the chalk. If it's on that semicircle chalk, that is in play. If it were to be short of it, it'd be a foul ball, and that's because we don't have a catcher. And the pitcher, that's almost a guaranteed hit if there was a ball in fair play in front of the plate.
Game of inches. Smithy, the reigning MVP.
Huge moment here. Vogus again struggling to find the board. You have the reigning MVP, national co-MVP as the go-ahead run in the the bottom of the 6th. If a home run here would win them
the championship.
Yes. For some reason, I was thinking this was the top. This is the bottom. 1-1.
So what a battle here in game number 2, coming down to this.
Uh-oh. Gripping the ball a little tightly here.
Loses that one. You do not want to get into a lob situation with Smithy and the bases loaded, that's for sure. And that one goes into the ground too. Count now to 3-1.
Certainly not a take mode here with it being 3-1. Essentially, this is an even count because you're 2 balls or 2 strikes away from a walk or a strikeout. Oh, that just missed high.
What a take there from Smithy, too.
He was looking for one pitch in one spot, probably low and away there, and so he knew instantly he wasn't offering. This is huge. Uh-oh.
There's the 5th ball.
This is it, folks.
So a lob situation here for the MVP. One of the best players in the entire country in Will Smithy.
Will Smithy probably having flashbacks to a month ago when he won the national tournament on a walk-off 3-run homer. Could he do it for the CCW title as well?
Takes a look at a couple, and now we'll step in. Huge moment here. You could feel the intensity of the crowd.
My heart's racing, honestly, especially with it being a slow pitch count.
Does have 1 strike.
Honestly, he's probably still thinking right center because if he doesn't get under it enough, it's probably 2, if not 3 runs to tie it up.
And even if you cut into the lead, you have Gregory behind you, so a
Yep.
capable hitter as well. So it's not necessarily all or nothing here with Smithy, but clearly with the bases loaded,
one
swing
balls
can win
can
it.
get out of this would be huge momentum riding into game 3. And Vogus being very fine. He doesn't want to hang anything.
Smithy taking his time. He wants to see exactly the pitch that he wants to unleash on.
In the same scenario, you're almost tempting him to offer it a bad pitch. Oh, 2 strikes.
Strike.
Now it's like, do you throw 5 balls off the board just to maybe tempt him to take the double? Because that would only score 1 run, I believe. Because they'd have to be forced in. That's a little gamesmanship savvy there. There.
Ripped. And it's over! It's gone!
Walk-off grand slam from Will Smithy, just like the national tournament.
A walk-off in the NWLA National Tournament, a walk-off in the Circle City Wiffle Ball Championship. Your Dirtyard Classic champions for the second year in a row are the Moonshots. Will Smithy, a walk-off grand slam. Incredible.
That ball was absolutely roped just off the outstretched hand of Austin Allis. I honestly thought he was going to reel it in.
And you feel for Ryan Vogus, what a pitching performance, and then it comes down to that. One pitch to the best player in the country, and he takes advantage just off the outstretched hands of Allis. You see him crumple to the ground in agony, and an incredible victory, an incredible championship for the underdog Moonshots as they come through and sweep the vaunted 8 Balls lineup with a 10-2 Game 1 win and a 5-4 Game 2 victory as they raise that trophy.
The Moonshots motto all season, the hashtag on Twitter was "Run It Back." They wanted to run it back again for title number 2, and they fulfilled even after underwhelming 8-7 regular season. Still, they remain on top of CCW. Incredible game there.
You mentioned it, Rudy. You get into this format, what happened in the regular season doesn't matter. It's just any given day, and this afternoon the Moonshots better in Game 1, and what a rally, an unforeseen rally in Game number 2 as they were really befuddled by Ryan Vogus through the first 5 innings, but you put the best player in the country at the plate as the winning run, and he ends up being exactly that with a walk-off grand slam. We'll have some parting thoughts as we bid adieu to the 2022 Circle City Wiffle Ball season. The Moonshots, your champions. Back to wrap it up next here on the ISC Sports Network.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is gone.
There you
go.
go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
That is Wrestler! Wrestler!
Whoa!
Back for a final time here at the Dirtyard. We saw history today here on the ISC Sports Network. The first ever back-to-back Circle City Wiffle Ball champions, the Midcity Moonshots, with a 2-0 Dirtyard Classic sweep of the 8 Balls, and it did not come easy. They trailed throughout today, starting with a leadoff homer from Taylor Carpenter, and runs in the first, second, third, and fourth innings. It was a 4-1 lead. Ryan Vogus absolutely dealing. And then, how about Austin Church? Let's put that in perspective as well. He doubles to start the inning. The infield single changed the entire complexion of that inning as well to load the bases. And then Will Smithy, the best player, probable MVP, likely, maybe him and Carpenter battling that out, but one of the best players in the entire country, the co-MVP of the national tournament as well, walking it off in both cases. National champs, Circle City Wiffle Ball champs. What a season for Will Smithy, and what a season for the Moonshots.
Yes, I was absolutely going to lead in with Church. You know, in the first 5 innings of both Game 1 and Game 2, just kind of was lying. We got Will Smithy in the booth here.
You want to talk to him? Should we talk to him real quick?
Let's get Will.
Here, do we have we only have the 2 headsets. Here, we'll have you. Here, have you wear mine, and let's have Rudy talk to you. Here's the Deputy Commissioner of CCW. Here we are with Will Smithy, the hero of today.
First reaction, how do you feel?
I feel amazing. Love my team. We wanted to run it back from the get-go. We did the new salary cap this year. Those 5 that we had, the whole goal is to just get those guys on the team, run it back, see what we can do, and I'm so glad it paid off. I'm so glad we paid off for those guys. Nobody's ever run it back before. We're going to go down as one of the best teams in the history of this league by running it back 2 years in a row. That's what an accomplishment for us.
Absolutely, and the good thing to know is that your salary cap number can't go any higher. So no matter how good of a season, you're the ceiling. So
yeah, that's hopefully it goes down a little bit so I can even add any more time.
I know your adrenaline's through the roof, but what was going through your head in that last AB there, and when you're getting the slow pitch, what was the thought?
It's like I knew he was tired. So I was really I heard you even say it up here. I was looking for one pitch on the fast pitch. I wanted that riser, but I wanted the one that kind of stayed middle in, because I thought that was the best chance I'd have to get my hands above the ball to hit it. And he just kept missing low and away, so I was able to spin on it pretty easily. And then with the lob pitch, that was like my third lob pitch, and I knew he was just throwing balls on purpose to me. He didn't really want it. He was hoping I'd take doubles, and I knew I could take 5 balls, and that was when I could then lock in, and he was going to try to hit the board really hard there. So I swung and missed on that first one to reset it, but by giving him the second strike, I think it made him think he could get one by me.
Yeah.
And he threw that same pitch again. I jumped all over it. And
just playing Jedi mind tricks with the pitcher there, man.
Trying to battle. I mean, the slow pitch brings a great element to the league with things like that. You got guys trying to get you to take that double walk, get you to chase pitches. Having only 1 strike going into it was a big key.
Yeah.
2 there is a lot tougher because I got to fight some of those pitches off. But I knew when I hit it well enough to go out. I just didn't know if it was going to go up or down. And
yeah,
all this helped me out, but it definitely was going up. I think it gets out without him touching it. But
I mean, you couldn't have hit it to the tallest guy in the league, you know?
Biggest guy in the league,
right?
Biggest hands, biggest calves, just ridiculous. I mean, everything was going against me on that hit, but I was glad it got out. I'm still ecstatic.
Yeah. Last question for you. Any point during that AB were you thinking NWLA tournament flashback?
I wasn't quite thinking NWLA tournament flashback. Even though that was a walk-off as well, with the fast pitch and like the no lob ball, it felt a little different.
Yeah.
I didn't quite know. NWLA, I didn't quite know I was late on the ball until they yelled at me, and that really what turned it, because I felt like I had great at-bats all day. But today every time I hit the ball today, I hit it really well. I knew I just had to make contact with it, and it was probably going to go. It was a little thick, so I was really just thinking just make contact, because the swing was really smooth today, and it was going to fly. So that's all I was thinking about. Thinking about the pitch to hit, and then what pitch I wanted to swing, get contact, and just let it fly. It was actually one of our guys, Austin Church's mom over there before the inning, goes, walk-off grand slam right here, guys. Let's go.
Oh, my gosh.
Right before the inning, right straight up, right when it started. We had a lot of faith in me getting back up there.
She spoke it into existence. Well, man, I know it's an amazing relief and accomplishment to win the trophy, but I'm sure you're also ecstatic that you don't have to pitch another game today.
I'm so
good to get it in the sweep.
Yeah, I've been throwing a lot. I was going back out there. I was going to hope to fill up the board. I still like our chances, obviously, but I love doing it in 2. Love being the best. So.
Way to go out there and get it, dude. Good job today.
Thank you.
Great season. You're all good. Thanks for coming up, man.
Thank you.
Take care of that trophy. It broke last year, so.
The sweat of a champion on my head.
Sweaty earmuffs.
So that is perfectly fine with me. God, what a story for Will Smithy. And what a day. A great capper to an amazing season. Congratulations to you guys, national champs and NWLA tournament, and you couldn't have scripted this better today. And the 8 Balls, nothing to hang their heads about. What an incredible season for them. A great performance by Vogus here in game number 2. Unfortunately, it didn't end up working out. It wasn't their day.
No, it wasn't their day. It seemed that things turned for the worse about that 5th inning. Vogus put in an incredible game 2 performance. But again, the role players did their part, played their role. They got base runners on. Church again with the bleeder single, the double. Once that double happened, like we made comment on it, the energy in the dugout, the motivation, like, hey, he just hit a double off Vogus' fast pitch. We haven't touched him all day. And then I think it created the belief in them. And next thing you know, bottom of the last inning of a game, 2 outs, bases loaded, you're down 3. That's the dream backyard scenario that every kid makes up.
Midcity Moonshots, your 2022 champs. They go back-to-back for the first time in Circle City Wiffle Ball history. Thanks to our tremendous crew. Thanks to you, Rudy, for having us out here. For Rudy Lyon and our ISC Sports Network crew, I'm Derek Schultz. Hope you enjoyed it. The Midcity Moonshots, your champions here on the ISC Sports Network.
Shot at the buzzer. She got it! Oh my goodness, what a shot!
Hello! Did it again. Hello! Made the highlight reel again. That goes to Mentor and all kinds of room to run. Down the middle of the field, and he will not be touched. Jackson, hello! There we go.
Stokes throws it, caught, ball ricochets.
Wow.
A huge hit.
Wow. This has been an amazing display of goal scoring.
Still on his feet. Stevens lunges.
Are you kidding me?
for that last name. Wabash has the lead for the first time today. So that was going to be a highlight reel. Oh, baby.
Yeah, you can celebrate after that.